Well, what do you
And
think was the moment where you decided in your life that you were going to let life be your teacher, but not your jailer? Like you were going to that you were going to change your trajectory from, this ditch that you got yourself in, and you were going to make a difference.
well,
Well,
certainly I knew I was heading down the wrong path when I found myself chained to a pole in a police station in the backwoods of Jersey for doing, actually, I didn't even do anything that time. So,
that time.
that time. But I looked around and I said, I'm better than this and I need to change my ways. And that time when I finally, the next day, I cut myself off from those bad influences and uh, changed the trajectory of my life. I mean, we are who we hang out with, meaning I am a full believer of show me your friends and I'll show you who you are.
Right.
It's just sad if you hang out with people that are bad people or not very motivated, you become a bad person or not very motivated. And that was the path I was on. And I changed myself and I educated myself. I decided I'm going to college and I went. I actually paid attention in school and graduated somewhere near the top of my class.
Did you have to work your way through school? I mean, I assume y'all didn't
Um,
have the money.
it's funny. The first year, I actually, my mom told me, I want you to go to college, but we can't afford it. And, you're pretty much an idiot. So you have to pay for your first year of college because I'm afraid you're going to screw it up. And I know that you're so tight with money that if I tell you you have to pay for it, you're going to pay attention to it. So I found the cheapest college I could find for my first year, which was West Virginia University, which I think I paid $459 a semester for tuition. And I think my beer was more than my tuition. And I went through and I really wasn't a good fit for me. I did my classes, I did okay, but it really wasn't a good fit. And by the grace of God, I turned around and I was, the gal across the street was going to a college in Washington and I talked to her and she said, oh, and go down there, you would love it. So I went over to that college, which was American University in Washington, D.C. And the counselor or the assistant dean met with me and she said, what is a nice boy from New Jersey doing in West Virginia University? You need to come to us. And I was able to go through and pay for college. And I worked in the summers very, very hard.
Do you
And
think working to pay for college made you appreciate it more?
absolutely. I paid attention to it. Now, I didn't, in all truthfulness, the finances freed up my sophomore year. So I was able, to get some help from my family. And, we were able to go to that college. However, when I decided to go to grad school, mama's like, I'm done. You're on your own. So there I had to work to go to grad school and put myself through grad school. And that was very, very difficult because I'd be up at 6 in the morning in the office at 7, leave at 6, drive to class to be there to take a class from 7 in the night to 10 o'clock at night, go to the library for 2 hours,
Yep.
and then
Do
do it
it
again
over
the next
again.
day.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was a very, very tough time for that.
Yeah.
However, gave me a work ethic, and I've always been a good worker and a hard worker. Maybe not the most productive worker, but I certainly have been able to focus and I was sitting there doing all this great accounting work back then and working my tail off. And then I bought a house and I noticed the bills started coming in and I had a tremendous amount of income at the time. I rose through the accounting ranks very quickly. But the reality was I bought a house and I started to see bills come in. And whether it was buying a couch for $3,000 or buying groceries or buying gas. And I said, this is almost addictive using these credit cards. I
Right.
wonder if other people are seeing this. And this is the late 80s, early 90s, and I started to do research and I went to a library. You remember what those are?
I do. I'm old
Yeah.
enough to remember libraries.
Yeah, and I went to a library and I did the research and I said, wow, other people are really, really struggling, but nobody knows where to get help. And the only help was down in Miami, and it was 3 months to get help if you're in credit card debt.
Wow.
And you know what? If you're in debt, you need help then and there. So I
Well,
was
and
talking to,
I remember when I was in college in the late 80s, they were passing out credit cards to college kids like it was candy
yeah,
or beer or pizza.
well, you know why? Because a credit card that you get in college, the average tenure of a person who gets a credit card in college is 15 years. You're going to hold on to that credit card because those were the good times of your life. And you know what? The average tenure of a person that gets an average credit card is 4 years. So it's a heck of a good investment to hand a credit card. And guess what? Chances are, if Junior gets in trouble and can't pay the bill in
Mm,
college,
yep, mama and daddy.
Mama's going to pay the bill in college.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's
my parents, I remember when I was in college, my parents bailed me out of my credit card debt a couple of times and kept fussing at me about it and then finally took them away from me, because I wasn't producing any income to pay for them, but I sure liked spending on them.